Good evening, folks, and a very, very warm welcome to you after a week's break. It's great to be back with the Geelong Region Soccer Show. My name is Tonchi Prusak, and I'm going to be with you for the next 60 minutes or so. And it's going to be a great show. We're fast approaching the pointy end of the winter season, the state leagues, and the VPL competitions as well. And this week coming, we've got some absolute beauty local derbies as well to look forward to, both on Friday night and Saturday night. More about that a bit later on. But huge show coming up, folks. A very, very big shout out, a special shout out to one of our most loyal viewers, Santino Mamone. He's tuning in at the moment as well. I promised him I would give him a big, big shout out. And I have done so now. We've got a lot to talk about tonight. We're going to be really focusing on junior development tonight. As we speak, the Victorian State boys under 15 and under 16 teams have flown out to Wollongong. Tomorrow is the start of the National Youth Championships, the boys tournament. The girls had theirs about a week or so ago. And there are something like 14 Geelong boys in the under 15s and under 16s that will be representing Victoria this week up in New South Wales. So we wish them all the best. We hope to have the coach of one of the under 16 teams, Geelong's own Sean Mann, who will be hopefully joining us next week's show to tell us all about how the boys go. But a little bit more about that later on. We will be speaking to John Topic. He was the coach of a Geelong Girls under-13 select team comprising of girls from Surf Coast, North Geelong Warriors and Geelong Galaxy. And they took first place in the under-13 competition, or the under-13 division of the Football Victoria Girls Cup tournament last week at Keilor Park. We'll be catching up with him a little bit later on. We will also be speaking to a returnee to the region, Angus Chapman. Spent a fair bit of time in England and originally from Geelong Rangers, where he played also at North Geelong. He's come back to Geelong and signed recently with Corio Soccer Club. On the weekend, he scored his first goals for the Eagles, scored, in fact, 2 in Corio's 6-1 thumping of second-place Westgate. What a result that was. And we'll be talking to Gus a little bit later on about that. So, folks, a huge show tonight. Strap yourselves in. We've got lots to talk about. We do appreciate if you can contribute as well, positively, of course, in the chat section tonight as well. We look forward to reading out some of your best comments as well. This show would not be around if it wasn't for our major sponsor, and a big, big shout out to our major sponsor, The Gordon, as you can see in the backdrop there. The Gordon is our major season sponsor for this year. So for all of your trade, hospitality, and so many other things as far as educational requirements, needs, desires, do visit The Gordon, thegordon.edu.au. And there are information sessions coming up also very, very shortly. I think it's next month or something like that. So as well, in fact, we'll pop that on the screen now. There we go. Information nights coming up at the City Campus on Tuesday, the 6th of August, in the East Geelong campus, that is, Wednesday, the 7th of August, and then at the Werribee campus on Thursday, 8th of August as well. All right, folks, we're going to take a short commercial break. When we return, time for the news desk.
Your future is in your hands. There is a whole world waiting for you, and your choices determine how you will impact it. At The Gordon, we recognise this. That's why we champion hands-on learning. Get your hands dirty. Grab what's in front of you. Learn by doing. Turn your passion, your ideas, and mould them into your creations. You'll be supported the entire way. You'll grow your skills in small classes, guided by teachers who are industry experts. You'll learn in state-of-the-art facilities or out in a real-world workplace setting. Your hands-on experience will increase your understanding and put you ahead of your university peers. You'll graduate work-ready, and you'll graduate sooner, with a huge range of qualifications to choose from and support services to enable your success. Now is the time to continue your learning journey. At the Gordon, your future is in your hands.
Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. It's time for the news desk. As we do each week, let's start off with the media watch and let's see what has been happening in the local media. Last Friday, it was the All Whites keep focused despite the win, despite breaking a 10-match losing sequence in State League 4 with a valuable win over informed Barnstoneworth United last weekend. Bell Park's new coaching triumvirate was keen to keep the lid on and not allow everyone at the club to get carried away with the result. The following day, in Saturday's edition, Eagles in late swoop for Lions, points to benefit Geelong. Corio could do its northern suburbs neighbour Geelong a huge favour in its push for a promotional berth if he could defeat the second place Westgate, and Geelong end up defeating Ballarat City in Ballarat City. That's precisely what happened, and that's going to be a focus of conversation with our first guest tonight, Corio's Angus Chapman, coming up very, very shortly. In today's edition of the paper, Corio's neighbourly favour for Lions, so exactly what we just spoke about then. There's also a photo of one of the Surf Coast's goal scorers, Hara, in action there. That photo taken by Mark Wilson, who often is seen around town at soccer matches. In the Surf Coast Times of last Friday, there was an article there by Vinnie Van Ulshot. Matilda's talent inspires young footballers at the holiday camp, and it was all about Kyra Cooney-Cross and her recent appearance at the Curva Coaching Holiday Clinic in Torquay. Okay, moving along to the VPLW competition over the weekend. First of all, with the men's on the Saturday, North Geelong Warriors had a 2-0 lead at half-time. Ryan Opperman and Cassian Angel scoring those two goals. Unfortunately for the Warriors, they let a 2-goal lead at the break slip, and Bentley Greens came back to record a 3-2 win. An important game this weekend, 4 matches remaining in the Victorian Premier League. Eastern Lions, who are 11th, taking on North Geelong. That's 2 shots, Veshko. North Geelong at Jack Edwards Reserve. If the Warriors want to ensure they can survive in VPL for next year, they do need to win this game. Game is being played at Oakley Cannons ground, Jack Edwards Reserve, which is a very, it brings back some very positive memories for Warriors fans. That was where several years ago, I think it was in 2019, North Geelong took on Richmond in what was a promotion playoff to get into the NPL competition back then. And that was a very positive outcome for North Geelong on that day. Over to VPLW action. Round 15, Geelong Galaxy travelled to Eltham to take on the Eltham Redbacks, came away with 1 point and following a 1-1 result. Girolamo scoring Galaxy's only goal. This weekend, on Sunday at 3 p.m. at Hume Reserve, Geelong will host 5th-placed Bundoora United. Very important game for Galaxy. Hopefully they can come away with a win in that game. Let's move on to now the State League, the Men's State League. Here we go. Look at that. 2 fantastic results in Men's State League, State League 1. First of all, Corio travelled to Westgate. Always a tough place to visit, Ardea Reserve. But guess what? The Corio came away with a remarkably good result. 6-1. Angus Chapman scoring 2 goals. We'll be speaking to Angus very shortly. Jamie Nobler also scoring 2 goals. Nemanja Spasojevic 1. And Billy Argyros, the veteran, also scoring a goal there. Ballarat City hosted Geelong Soccer Club, and it was a 3-2 win. An own goal kick-started the ball for the Lions. And then 20-year-old Ocean Grove local Xavier Ryan also scored there, and Bruno Gervasoni scored. Now, Ryan is an interesting name. He's 20 years old. He was only recently signed from American NCAA Division I college team Florida Gulf Coast University, where he's been for a couple of years. He scored the equaliser for Geelong against Ballarat on Saturday night. It was his first goal in the red and black. And he will be, I'm told, heading back to the US in September to continue his college career with the ultimate ambition of being drafted by an MLS team. We're going to have to get this young chap on the Geelong Region Soccer Show program very, very in one of these coming episodes. Big thank you to Steve Janoski as well from Geelong for supplying that information. And I agree, Gino, stories like this really need to be told, and it's great that Geelong Soccer Club and Steve Janoski provide us with that little bit of interesting information. Geelong Rangers came up against top side Keilor Park and came away with a draw. Fantastic result for Rangers. It gives them and their supporters a lot of hope that they'll be able to avoid the relegation in State League 2. In State League 4, Bell Park unfortunately weren't able to follow up last week's win over Barnstoneworth after going down to third-placed Melton Phoenix, 3-2. Harris Vrbovac and Gabriel Mage scoring there for Bell Park. Well done to those two, but unfortunately just wasn't enough. Barwon also lost to Moonee Ponds United 1-4. Christian Davis was the scorer of Barwon's lone goal. And we've got some footage here of the Surf Coast game against West Point at the West Street Reserve. Now, this is a very controversial goal, or wasn't allowed for offside. You can actually see the player was definitely onside, so quite a controversial situation, outcome there. And it certainly was not an offside decision. Equaliser. First goal from a penalty spot. Fantastic when clubs have these VO cameras and they do a little bit of editing. We'll see the second goal coming up shortly. Fast-flowing football. The Surf Coast maintains the lead at the top of the competition standings. It's 8 points at the moment, and here comes Hara with the 84th minute goal to give the Coasters a 2-0 lead. And then West Point got a situation goal late in injury time. As you said earlier, Surf Coast managing to do very well and extend their lead at the top, or maintain their 8-point gap at the top of the competition standings.
Good Frank! Good movement, Harris!
Keilor Wolves in second position with 7 games remaining. Bell Park, though, they're on the bottom and they're 3 points away from safety at the moment. So that is a concern. A big game coming up this weekend, and we'll talk about that very, very shortly. A very, very big game coming up for Bell Park this weekend. But let's move on to the last of the State League results, or the State League divisions. A goal fest in State League 5. Ocean Grove took on Deakin Ducks, and it was a 3-3 draw in the local derby. Not a good result for the Ducks, I might add, because it dislodges the Ducks from second spot into third spot. They do have a game in hand, however, and they will need to win that game to return back to second spot and, of course, the promotion spot. Jacoby, Killenby and Millwood scoring for the Deakin Ducks, Favetta scoring 2, and player coach Dan Benson scoring 1 for Ocean Grove. Tani United came up against Lara United, and Lara United made it 15 wins from 15 games. Mayondo 2, Nelson 2, McGrath, Marniso, Dempsey and Kuipers all scoring 1 apiece. If we go to the fixtures page this week coming, huge game on Saturday night in State League 1, Geelong taking on Corio. A big crowd is expected. Great kickoff time too, by the way, 6 p.m. on a Saturday night. In State League 2, 5th placed Altona East Phoenix hosts our Geelong Rangers at Paisley Park. In State League 4 action on Friday night at Bell Park Sports Club, another local derby, and this is going to be a crucial game for the home side. Bell Park taking on Barwon, 8th versus 12th, and Bell Park needs a win in this game, desperately needs a win in order to stay alive in State 4. Dare I say, a loss against Barwon would almost virtually, I won't say condemn them to relegation, but then with only 6 games remaining, they would be really finding it very difficult. Truganina in 11th position hosts Surf Coast, top of the table. Surf Coast, it's one of those games that the Coasters just cannot afford to lose. That game's at 3 p.m. on Saturday afternoon. In State League 5, Deakin Ducks hoping to continue or to return to the winners list, taking on Bendigo City, who are 5th, I believe. And this is an important game. The Ducks cannot afford to drop any points from here on in. Lara United, well, they could do the Ducks a huge favour by defeating second place Gisborne. Now, a win here against Gisborne at Lara Recreation Reserve on Saturday night will basically confirm Lara United as promotion. They will have earned promotion if they can defeat Gisborne. Mathematically, they will also probably look like being crowned champions. Ocean Grove also in that division, but they have a bye. On to the Women's State League. Only one game was played. The game between North Geelong Warriors and Fawkner was postponed to be played during an upcoming catch-up round. North Geelong are in 4th position, and it's very, very possible that if they win their remaining games, they could be fighting for a promotion spot to next year's VPL competition. So the onus is on the Warriors, who this weekend travel to 7th place Ballarat City at the Ballarat Regional Soccer Facility. They'll be playing on the main pitch there, and that game kicks off at 3 p.m. In State League 2, Geelong Rangers recorded a very valuable 1-0 win over Spring Hills, Beth Cope scoring the only goal of the game. And this weekend, the Rangers travel to bottom side Greenvale United. That game at Barrymore Road Reserve kicks off at 3 p.m. So a lot of football action happening over the next few weeks, or over the next week or so, that's for sure. Moving along, let's have a look at the Victorian State team. This week they will be this morning they have moved to the New South Wales city of Wollongong, and we'll have a look at some of the photos there. That's the boys there. There's something like 14 boys from Geelong that are playing in under 15 and or the under 16 team. And this is an incredible. From back row, we've got here Shining Moon. He's at the Geelong Soccer Club. That's number 16. Jesse Knezovic, number 3, North Geelong. Charlie Harper, the goalkeeper. He's from Geelong. Followed by Jaden Trajanovsky, number 2. He's from North Geelong. Marcus Bay, number 10. Also North Geelong. Number 15, Aidan Sharp, also from North Geelong. Then we've got number 17, Luca Primerano. He's playing at Western United at the moment. In the front row, Najib Osman, number 8. He's playing at Avondale. We've got Tyson Couchy, number 16. He's playing at Western United. Benson Chinko, number 7. He's playing at Geelong Soccer Club. Then we've got Dominic Postorino, number 9. He's at North Geelong. And Carl Leban, number 11, at Western United. Missing from the photos are 2 North Geelong players, Kian Arjamand and Daniel Atanasovsky. So good luck to the under 15 and under 16 boys teams as they do battle in the National Youth Championships. Interesting news earlier today, thanks to Brenton Ray. who provided this information. The Clean Sheet football website has actually said that it is confirmed that the National Second Division will be delayed. Certainly won't be starting next year as originally planned. And what that means, it has then a flow-on effect for promotion and relegation, all the way from the NPL down to the VPL2 competitions, the VPL1 competitions, and indeed the state leagues as well. So that would mean that everything will revert to 2 up, 2 down in most cases, which, that will, for clubs like North Geelong, who are struggling at the moment. Who else? Geelong would mean that the top 2 would get promoted definitely in State League 1 as well. And there's also talk that could be expanded as well. So will the top 2 in State League 1 Northwest and the top 2 in State League 1 the Southeast get promoted as well? Time will tell. But it certainly is an interesting concept of what may or may not happen. Folks, we're going to take a very, very short break. When we return, we'll be speaking to our very, very first guest, and that is Corio Soccer Club striker Angus Chapman. Don't go away, folks. Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. I think our illustration may have been wrong in the with the fixtures saying that Geelong are fifth. Geelong were fifth last week. They are now, in fact, equal second, but third on goal difference at the moment. So that is Geelong Soccer Club, who are in third position, not in fifth position. So we're moving along now. Speaking of Geelong Soccer Club, they will be in action on Saturday night at Stead Park in the State League 1 local derby when they host the club of our next guest. And it is an absolute pleasure to welcome to the show Corio Soccer Club striker Angus Chapman. Good evening, Angus. How are you doing?
G'day, Tonchi. Good, thanks. How are you?
Great, fantastic. And first of all, mate, welcome back to the show. I think the last time we had you on the show, you were either in England or you were bound for England. I can't remember. I think it might have been last year or the year before.
Yeah, a few years ago now. I think I was on my way headed over to England. So yeah.
Before we talk about what happened on the weekend, and geez, that was a fantastic result. Let's talk about a little bit about England. How was your experience over there? How was your time over in England playing football?
I loved it. Obviously, unfortunately, injuries probably played a bigger part than I wanted to. But I was playing football 5-6 days a week and learning a lot, and eventually, obviously, becoming a better player because of it. So yeah, loved my time over there.
I mean, you are of English background, so that would have obviously helped, I guess. From I guess a lot of the bureaucratic point of view, from citizenship and that sort of stuff. But culturally, England and Australia are very similar. But when we talk about football culture, there's a massive difference there. How did you find that football culture when you first moved there, and how did you adapt to it?
I guess, as probably everyone kind of knows, the football's such a big part of England, and obviously the amount of teams and the amount of people that follow, support, play. So it kind of just is there every day. It's everything they talk about. It's on all the TVs. It's all around. So no, I loved it. I was straight into it. We were training 5-6 days a week, and I was learning from all different parts, and it was really, really enjoyable.
What were some of the clubs that you were there at?
So I played 3 years at Barnsley in the academy, and then I also played for a lower league team, Guiseley, before eventually coming back home.
Yeah, yeah. So compare it to say you played a few years at North Geelong in the NPL system. So what we refer to here in Australia as the academy system or the NPL pathway, I guess. Compare that to say the standard, the intensity, the level of aggression, I guess, with the academies over in the UK and more specifically Barnsley. How would you compare the two?
Well, I think a massive part is the obviously the funding and everything that gets supported into the academies in England. Um, you have under 12s, under 13s team training 3-4 times a week already at that young age. And then obviously when you get to 15, 16, you become full time. We classed as scholarships, but we're basically apprentice footballers.
Yeah.
Obviously wanting to become pro. And it's just, it's every day. It's every day, 9 till 3, 9 till 4, instead of, a training, two or three training sessions at night when, it's just not the same. And
Yep.
there's a big gap and kind of where we're lacking as a country, and that's where we've got to get to.
And the training sessions themselves, do they go back to basics and do skill sessions one day, or is it strength sessions another day, or is it just simply the same old every day? Warm up, do a drill, play a game. How does it work over there from a structure point of view?
It's a bit of a mix. Obviously, we usually played on the Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'd have your Sunday off, and then you'd come in Monday, and it was a little bit of a lighter session, but you'd still train. You'd probably work on more your individual stuff. So your strikers go do your finishing, your hold up play, stuff like that, when your defenders might, focus on their clearances or 1v1 defending, stuff like that. Tuesdays used to be your bigger sessions. So 2.5 hours, big areas, lots of distance, kind of get the Ks in the legs before the game.
Yeah.
Thursday became more match training, so patterns of play, basically how we want to play coming into a game on the weekend. So it might be like an 11v11 for 30 minutes just to get our structure and kind of everything going in the right direction.
Yep.
And Friday was just getting you ready. So lots of mini games, lots of, short, sharp stuff just to get you ready and focused for the game on the Saturday.
Mate, how did it end up that you ended up coming back and signing with Corio? Obviously, you wanted to come home, but before Corio, there was a little bit of a segue before that. But how did you end up at Corio, and explain to us that?
Yeah, so when I first came back, I signed with Dandenong Thunder, and was really happy there. I played 6 games and then unfortunately had another ACL injury. And then when I was recovering from that, I was doing all my kind of individual stuff that I needed to do, strength, fitness, stuff like that. And my dad, Mike, was goalkeeper coaching at Corio. And it was just a nice little kind of step in for me to start ramping up my my training to, do some finishing at goalkeepers and a little bit of movement and, kind of be amongst the team almost a little bit. And then from then on, I kind of just started integrating into trainings, getting used to the boys, joining in passing drills. And then from there on, I loved it and, made the decision to sign there permanently.
Yeah. Well, you signed a few weeks ago, and on Saturday just gone by, you scored your first goals for the Eagles, and we've got a little bit of highlights there in the background. But going to Ardea Reserve is always a tough task at the best of times. But at the time, you were second last placed and coming up against second placed Westgate. And, mate, 6-1, you scored 2 goals. What a result. Take us through the game.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of started in perfect fashion. I think when I got told after the game, I think we scored our first goal within 30 seconds. And our first 3 goals were within about 15 minutes. And we were just on form. Everything seemed to be working well. And it finally seemed like everything we've been working for in training kind of all came together. And, it was a fantastic performance and fantastic result.
Yeah, now, Ivan Biskin, it was his little bit of a farewell there because he's going on a 4-week trip to Europe with the family. But it was a good sending off for him, that's for sure. But is this a bit of a turning point, you reckon? I mean, we've got a tough game coming up this weekend. We'll explain very shortly about that. But look, with 7 games to go, Coria's now jumped to third last spot. So equal amount of points as second last placed Upfield. So, I mean, the danger isn't over as far as safety from relegation. But do you feel that the team sort of, turned the corner with this result?
Look, I'd like to think so, but I also think we've been in and around it all season. We've actually conceded the least amount of goals out of any team in the league. So it's just kind of getting that final piece of the puzzle, which was to put some in the other end. And obviously it worked well on the weekend and we got 6. So hopefully we can keep that form and be clinical in front of goal.
Yeah. So after this Saturday night, big local derby against Geelong at Stead Park. Then after that, it's an away trip to Strathmore, the bottom side, and then I think it's a home fixture against 8th placed Sydenham Park. So there's certainly winnable games, although this one on Saturday is going to be a tough one. Are you looking forward to it? A big local derby, big local crowd, no doubt. Atmosphere is going to be absolutely electric, I think, come Saturday night under lights.
Yeah, it'll be really good. Nothing better than a local derby in Geelong. As you said, under the lights, get a big crowd in, and yeah, it should be a good game. Looking forward to it for sure.
Yeah. Now your old club, or both your old clubs, actually are struggling at the moment. North Geelong, and where you spent a bit of your junior time, is struggling at the moment. But also Geelong Rangers, where you started your football and also played a little bit of senior football and broke into senior football. They're struggling. But last week they got a really good result against top side Keilor Park. So hopefully they can get out of it as well. Have you kind of been surprised coming back to Geelong, and you just sort of see some of the teams are doing really well, but they seem to be in the lower state, like the State League 4s and State League 5s. But all the clubs that are kind of placed in the higher divisions seem to be struggling, and I'm not sure what it is. But do you have a thought as to why that may be the case?
Look, it's hard to put a kind of focus on one thing.
Yeah.
But I know there is a lot of clubs with a lot of money up in Melbourne paying a lot. And look, unfortunately, that attracts big players from NPL clubs, and especially in State League 1, it's a really tough league. You've got, the transfer window for NPL clubs, and if for whatever reason people fall out of that, they kind of drop to State League 1. So you've got players that probably are playing below their standard playing. So it's a good competition. And obviously that filters down throughout the whole state league. So
yep.
They're good leagues. And for whatever reason this year, there's a few Geelong teams struggling a little bit, but I'm sure it's just a blip for this season, and next season it will be much, much better.
But we seem to have generating so much good quality talent in the junior ranks. I mean, we saw 12, possibly 14 kids, just boys, in the under 15, under 16 state teams. So they're doing really well. We're going to be talking to John Topic about an under 13 Geelong Girls Select side that did really well at a Melbourne competition. So from a juniors perspective, we seem to be doing really well and churning out some quality players and products. It's just at the moment, unfortunately, not translating into that senior area. But putting all that aside, on Saturday, it's going to be a huge game, a massive crowd we expect. Hopefully the weather's going to be quite nice. It's been they're forecasting pretty crap weather for the rest of the week. Bit like England, I guess. You would have felt really at home with this sort of weather, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it doesn't kind of compare with the English weather, that's for sure. Don't mind a little bit of rain here and there.
There you go, dull and dreary every day, I suppose. Mate, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Great to see you having recovered from that ACL knee injury and banging the goals in. That's what we want to see you happening. And Saturday night should be an absolute fantastic occasion. So calling the entire Geelong football community to get down to Stead Park and take in what should be a fantastic game of football.
Yeah, exactly. It should be, and I'm looking forward to it. So, yeah, thank you very much for having me, Tonchi, and hopefully see you around on Saturday.
Yeah, we'll do. Take care.
Cheers, Tonchi.
Bye-bye. Okay, that was Gus Chapman. Lovely, lovely chap. Very, very friendly. And it's great to see him amongst the goals for Corio Soccer Club. Great to see Corio Soccer Club also getting a very good win, doing their near neighbours a favour, ensuring that Geelong could jump into equal second spot or third on goal difference. But I'm sure on Saturday there will be no favours being dealt out by either club. 6 p.m. this Saturday night at Geelong Soccer Club, and it's free entry, says Mario Gregorio. Stead Park pitch in amazing condition. I'm hopefully the rain that we get forecast this week won't do too much damage to the ground, but it is fantastic surface out there. I'm sure all will be well. Okay, we're going to take a short break, folks, and when we return, we will be speaking to John Topic. He was the coach of a Geelong Region Select Girls Under-13 team that took first place at last week's Football Victoria Girls Cup at Keilor Park. We'll be speaking to John straight after this break. Don't go away.
The world is yours. So work hard, and you can have whatever it is you want.
Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. And as I said, next week we hope to have Sean Mann. He's the coach, Geelong coach, by the way, from his school teacher / coach at the soccer program at Western Heights College. He's also the assistant coach at North Geelong Warriors. He's a state coach indeed, and he is also the coach of the Victorian Boys Under-16s team. There's one of two or three teams. And he's coaching the team, which is comprised mainly of the regional Victorian representatives. And hopefully he will join us next week on next week's show to give us a full rundown of how the Victorian teams, which featured the Geelong boys, went at this year's National Youth Championships currently being played in Wollongong. But in the meantime, we're going to catch up with someone who had some great success last week during the school holidays. The Football Victoria Girls Cup was held at the Keilor Park Football Club last Thursday and Friday. An under-13 girls team represented the Geelong region playing in the Football Victoria Cup. Most of the girls in the team played together in 2023, representing the GRFC at the Country Championships. And the team was made up of girls from Surf Coast, North Geelong Warriors and Geelong Galaxy. Over the 2 days, the girls played in 4 group stage games. They finished second in the group stage, only losing one game going down to Keilor Park 4-0. The girls faced off against Westside Strikers in the semi-final, walking away with a 1-0 victory. The girls then played against Keilor Park once again in the grand final, leading 1-0 until the last 2 minutes. Keilor equalised. Then the girls successfully walked away with a thrilling victory, winning 4-3 on penalties. Wow. What a way to win. What a way to lose. But to tell us all about that is our next guest, and it's an absolute pleasure to welcome to the Geelong Region Soccer Show, John Topic. John, good evening. How are you?
Good evening, Tonchi. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on the show. We believe that you were called in late tonight to work, but you still managed to come on the show. So hopefully there isn't an emergency out there. Otherwise, we may need to cut the interview short. But, mate, tell us all about it. Fantastic result, fantastic achievement. We'll go through the names of the girls shortly. But tell us a little bit about the tournament itself.
Yeah, the tournament was held, as you said, on the Thursday and the Friday last week. It all started with my two daughters. I've got twin girls. They play at Surf Coast. They started recruiting players, some teammates, some girls from school. I ended up getting in touch with Craig Wright, who was the coach of the girls last year at the Country Champs, representing GRFC. And we got together about 10 girls that represented that side last year. And we took them to the tournament. Great bunch of girls, really talented. And as you can see, they won on penalty shootout.
Yeah. So we've got players like we mentioned earlier from Surf Coast, North Geelong Warriors, and Geelong Galaxy. So the girls from Surf Coast, they included your two daughters. Now I'm going to get this wrong, I'm sure. Ilara and Chava Topic, is that right?
Yeah, my daughter's Ilara and Shavar. That's correct.
Uh-huh. Ella Fitzgerald, Asha Ryder, Mackenzie Evans, Lulu Rimmer as well. From North Geelong Warriors, there were Alessi Deek, Lillian Harris, Valentina Kump, Giselle Serayoko, and Summer Wright, Craig's daughter. She was the captain. And then from Geelong Galaxy, we had Hannah Wader, Dusty Colgate, and Indy Cornish. Now, last week on the show, John, we spoke to Steve, or 2 weeks ago when the last aired, we spoke to Steve Nikolovsky, the coach of the Geelong Galaxy under-13s team, and they're doing really well at the moment. So in that demographic, we seem to have a lot of talent here in Geelong with regards to the girls.
Yeah, absolutely. The girls that played from Galaxy, they're unbelievable skill, and there's no doubt it was not only those girls, but the girls from North Geelong and Surf Coast. We'll be seeing them in the future, representing the state and hopefully moving on even higher up, representing the country. So, lots of talent out there. At Surf Coast, I coach the under-15 girls there where my daughters play. Currently the under-15 girls that play in the Metro League, they're top of the ladder, and we've got an under-13 girls team as well that are top of the ladder. So, as you said, lots of talent in our region. It's fantastic to see.
Yeah, no, it is. And you mentioned Craig Wright. Craig, he's been so involved in so many things. How did he find time to help out with you? How much of a contribution did he make as well?
Yeah, Craig's a great help, and I saw the way he coached the girls last year at the tournament, and he was by my side in the final, giving some useful advice on the sideline. So he was a great help, and truly he was a part of the team as well.
Yeah. And late last week, I think as well, it was the SAP program up in Melbourne as well. And I had the pleasure of being up there as well, running into Steve Nikolovsky as well, and just seeing some of the girls that are in action as well, some of the boys as well, in that age group, sort of the pre-NPL age group. There's some very, very good talent at the moment coming up through the region. So it's quite exciting. With our previous guest, we spoke about Angus Chapman. We spoke about a lot of the juniors that are doing well. We mentioned the 14-odd boys that are currently in New South Wales for the National Youth Championships. John, we seem to have a lot of talent coming up through the ranks. As a coach and as a father, what do you think? How can we really harness this talent that we've got at the moment, this potential, and ensure that, in 5, in 10, maybe in 15 years, that translates into, very, very good talent at senior level?
Yeah, I think it was mentioned a couple of weeks ago when he was speaking to the Geelong Galaxy coach of the under-13s, just creating that clear pathway for young players, so they know what they need to achieve and how do they get to that, how do they get through those steps to achieve that. And I can see in the region just over the last couple of years, and like one of your show sponsors, Corva, my girls are in that program. They're part of Surf Coast, and I've seen a huge improvement just across the board. The students or the kids that are in that program, their skill, their foot skill, has just improved immensely over the past 6 months, 12 months. So I know Surf Coast in particular, there's over 700 players this year. So I think there was a 30 or 40% uptake in numbers.
Yeah.
And that seems to be across the whole state. So football is just getting bigger and bigger, and I just hope they can keep up with it.
Just to illustrate, if we're going to just talk about girls, and we're just going to talk about pre-NPL girls, so we're talking about under 12, under 13 age group, just to illustrate the depth of talent, I guess. Your under 13 team obviously went all the way first place, but the under 12 team as well they were runners up. So they got to the final. They didn't win it, but nonetheless, and that's a huge achievement. they were coached by, I think, Drysdale's Grace Hudson. And there's a photo there. I know Drysdale Soccer Club earlier today put a post up and saying 3 of their players were involved in that. And they were coached by their own senior women's player and coach, Grace Hudson, as well. So congratulations as well to the under-12s doing so well there. It's great to see as well a female footballer at senior level also getting involved in coaching. And we've spoken this many a time. We need to get even more female coaches involved as well. It can't just be dads coaching their daughters, which is great, but we also need to get a lot more, and that's happening slowly, bit by bit, as we could see with the under-12s there. So that's another thing, isn't it? The coaches, we really, like you mentioned, Curva as well, and the girls, the boys, they receive top quality coaching at all of these clinics and performance academies, but we certainly need, as the players grow and the pool of talent grows, we need to also invest in our coaches, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's been mentioned in the past. There's lots of people out there and coaches that want to progress even their coaching careers and do courses, but there's just nothing available. So whether that's Football Victoria or they haven't got enough people to train the coaches up.
Yeah.
But if that was more accessible, there'd be no doubt more people taking that up.
Yeah. But I mean, on the weekend, I think yesterday, in fact, there was a Foundations of Football coaching course, and it was in Ballarat. Now, I haven't yet seen one being advertised here in Geelong. I may stand corrected, but I went on the Football Geelong website earlier today and I couldn't find anything that says that there is going to be a coaching course there. So, I mean, we do need more of that. And I guess Football Victoria can put the courses up, but then we do need people to actually sign up for these courses. So it's kind of a bit of a catch-22 situation, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And I think as you were talking about getting more females into the coaching role, I know at Surf Coast, my daughter's the senior women's team. We've got 2 senior women's teams, and they're, the younger girls look up to them and they're training with them. The senior women are letting them join their training sessions. So you're just seeing a lot more women joining the soccer club as well and getting around the club.
Yeah. Speaking of Surf Coast, I mean, we spoke to Brett King earlier this year, and there was hopes of having a state league side entered this year in the state league competition, Surf Coast. It didn't eventuate because, and I think in hindsight, it was a brilliant decision. The idea was to solidify the junior ranks and coming up through the ranks so that there is a very, very strong, a production line of talent and potential players. And we've seen North Geelong do that. North Geelong were in state league and they pulled out, and then they've really started developing their juniors from the bottom up, and now they seem to be doing very, very well. And you guys seem to be doing the same in the state, in the junior divisions. Could we possibly see a resurrection of that idea of next year possibly Surf Coast entering a senior women's team in the state leagues comp?
Yeah, I think it has been mentioned around the club. I don't know too many details of the ins and outs, but it's definitely the club is growing and looking at progressing player development and giving all those players some opportunity to play in better competition and some better leagues. That's for sure.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, it's great news, and once again, congratulations on the achievement in the Girls Cup at Keilor Park. We certainly look forward to seeing some more of those type of results and achievements, no doubt, in months and years to come.
Absolutely. Thanks again for having me.
John, thank you for joining us, and at such short notice. And even though you're at work there, hopefully you won't have to put out any fires, but we really appreciate you taking the time out and coming on the show.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Good on you. Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. And if you would like to watch the games from the Football Australia National Youth Championships starting tomorrow all the games will be streamed live. So you'll be able to watch all the games involving the Geelong boys in the under 15 and under 16 divisions, the age categories. And all you have to do is watch it on community TV. And the action kicks off early from tomorrow. So if you do go to the homepage, or you can even use the video player on the homepage of the community TV, communitytv.com.au website. You have to be a subscriber to News Limited. But at the moment, they've got a $5 a week package. I think it's like you pay $20 for the first month, for the first 4 weeks, and it does give you access to all the Fox Sports and KO Sports, I think it is, and all of that kind of stuff. Content, you'll be able to read the Geelong Advertiser and thus all of the football articles that are in that as well. Once again, folks, thank you for joining us on tonight's show. We really, really appreciated your company. That brings us to the end of the Geelong Region Soccer Show. We hope you'll join us again next Monday night at 8 p.m. In the meantime, please do get out and take some local football action in. There's some great games happening this weekend, whether it's at VPL level, whether it's at state league level, Geelong community, regional level, seniors, juniors, whatever the case may be. There's something to satisfy everyone's appetite. Big shout out once again to our major sponsor, The Gordon. Thank you so much, and thank you for being a part of tonight's show. Good night.